Hello everybody, welcome to Nostalgia Goggles. I'm Chris, also known as Retro Gaming Nerd, and happy Mario Day! Hopefully this comes out on time. I'm really bad about putting things out on time. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Mario games, and I feel like the way most people feel about Mario 64 is how I feel about this game, and today we're talking about Mario Galaxy. This copy is a copy I got back when I lived in California from a very, very dirty game store, so that's why it looks like this. I don't normally like boxes like this, but I wanted the game, and that's all they had. That's why it's this way. I'm justifying it because I'm embarrassed. You can also play it here too. So, with that being said, let's get right into the review. Is Super Mario Galaxy worth playing today? That feels so wrong to say that. So the story of Super Mario Galaxy is Mario gets invited to the Star Festival by Princess Peach, and surprise, surprise, Bowser decides to crash that. The big difference this time is Bowser, instead of wanting to take over the Mushroom Kingdom, wants to take over the galaxy and mold it into his own image, taking after Team Galactic. So after the battle, which isn't really a battle, now Mario gets blasted off and meets Rosalina and Luma, and the story of the game begins, where it is you trying to get power stars to fuel the observatory, which is Rosalina's ship, so that she can get you to the center of the universe so you can stop Bowser from doing his wild shit. There's also more to the story. For instance, you get to find out the origins of Rosalina as well, told through a storybook, which is beautifully done. All in all, the story of Mario Galaxy is hilarious because it jumps in scale. It's not the same Mario story. It goes a little bit above and beyond, and I think that works. This game feels like they really put their asses into this game in an interesting way, because it could have just been simple Bowser captures Peach, wants to take over the Mushroom Kingdom using Galaxy themes. It could have been a race back to the Mushroom Kingdom. Instead, it's not. It's Bowser has a big plan, and I think that works out very well. I like it a lot. With that being said, let's move on to the gameplay. Super Mario Galaxy's gameplay is astounding and very intimidating to talk about, because it's one of those games that is so integral to my life that it's just hard to talk about, so I'm going to do it anyways. Super Mario Galaxy's main gimmick of the game is, surprise, surprise, gravity, and I think that's a really cool thing within this game. And one of the things that's interesting about Mario Galaxy is I went on and on about how Mario 64 has to create something completely new for a 3D Mario to exist, where Mario Galaxy goes, nuh-uh, and decides to focus on some of the older things that Mario had. Mario Galaxy focuses a lot on gravity, and also focuses a lot on power-ups and so many other things as well. It is if I had to, outside of the 3D Lands and World Series, put my finger on a 3D Mario that embodies Mario Classic proper, it would be Galaxy. Because the power-ups like a Fire Flower, Ice Flower, which I was wrong on, I said that started in Mario Wii U, or Mario Wii, I don't know what I was on, but no, it was here first. That game, Galaxy, I believe, came out first, so I don't know why I was on that one. I don't even know if I specifically said it, but I did talk about it. The B power-up and so on and so forth are all things that would be in a classic Mario setting, and this game has many moments like that. And I have to really give credit to 64, because if it wasn't for that game testing the waters, we wouldn't be able to have the ability that this one does have. I think the greatest thing about this game is how just beautifully it plays. It's kind of like one of those games of where you can have high level play, or like know the game very well, and it'll allow you to do some really cool things. Especially playing with the gravity, you can do some really cool things as well, like almost skipping segments, and that's just awesome. There's something awesome about being able to appease people that aren't good at Mario, but also are really good at Mario, and I think Galaxy does a great job at that. Galaxy, all in all, is just an outstanding game when it comes to gameplay, and I wish I had more to say about it, but I really don't, because just look at it. It's outstanding. It's just, it's what it is. It does a great job, and yeah, that's really it. Mario Galaxy is jaw-dropping when it comes down to presentation, being one of the first times that Mario had an orchestrated soundtrack. That's something that you'll never forget, even down to the intro and I believe the title card screen in the Wii. It has it straight up there, and it's something that's just beautiful. The soundtrack itself is very much Mario, but with an intergalactic, almost space opera feeling. There is a melancholy sound throughout this game as well that is put in it, like Rosalina's theme and so many other things that are just great. And this game just, I know I'm harping on it musically, but it just hits just right. If you told me back in the day that there would be an orchestrated Mario that was not in a movie, I would kind of question what you're doing and why. But this game majorly made it that way, and Mario to this day has had that before. And games like Mario Kart, there's an orchestrated soundtrack there now too. I'd say a band is the better word to put it, but it's there, and it's something that I would have never thought of. Visually, this game is also just outstanding as well, having a very unforgettable / surreal look to it. I love the way that the galaxies are barely together, and that's just beautiful. The Lumas are also something I want to bring up because they're also just super iconic and I love them, and Nintendo Land better start, or Super Mario Land or Super Nintendo Land better start selling plushies of those. All in all, this game's just iconic. I love it so much, and the story itself is also presented very well. I love how wording is important in this game, with Rosalina using Special One to acknowledge Peach as Mario's Special One, which is really great. Also, Rosalina came to the table slapping us again with presentation, giving us a storybook that I want to be printed. I have a child, and I think that he would absolutely enjoy that. I would enjoy that just as an adult. I don't know if there is a Mario Galaxy storybook, but with the way Nintendo feels about stories in games, I doubt that they'd print it. Who knows? It'd be really great for them to sell. All in all, when it gets right down to it, this game is just phenomenal when it comes down to presentation. It will give you an unforgettable experience that Mario just normally gives. So, with that being said, let's move on to accessibility. So when it comes right down to it, Mario Galaxy has only been released twice to my knowledge. One on the Wii and one on the Nintendo Switch through the Mario All-Stars pack. With that being said, the Wii version is going to set you back $10 to $20. You can pay more for it, but it's a very accessible game when it comes right down to it. And I think the Wii is a very accessible console, so, and it still holds up to this day. The Wii is a great console, so I think that if that's the one you want to get it on, go for it. When it comes to Super Mario 3D All-Stars though, this is where it gets a little more expensive, going for $60 to $100, all because Nintendo wanted to do forced scarcity of a game, which I understand this is meant to be a celebration of Mario, but I'm gonna be that aunt that comes to the party and ruins it. See, I don't like how Nintendo did this with 3D All-Stars, being one of the best ways to play all these 3D games and locking it behind a time window. I think that it would have just been better to release these games and have them be available for at least a year or so, or at least the reasonable time of a game's lifespan. See, video games aren't always easy to get your hands on. They come and go, and once they stop printing, they stop printing. This one would have been a better one to allow it to just stop printing. One of the issues that I had back in the day is, I remember when me and Olivia were trying to get our hands on Resident Evil 2's remake. That's one of them that we had to search high and low for because we got it way too late. And around the end of its printing cycle, which is fine. That's going to happen. This one, I don't think had that. I think Nintendo wanted to do a false scarcity kind of thing, and I think that sucks. 3D All-Stars is one of my favorite ways to play these games, and it sucks that I can't recommend that one to many people as much as I wish I could. So with that being said, the Wii version's the way to go, but I also would say that if you don't mind paying $60 for it, and that's, I think, the highest you should pay for this one, go for it. You can't buy it online, by the way, so that sucks too. You can't buy it on the Nintendo eShop, so that sucks. With that being said, let's move on to the goods and the bads. What can I say? Mario Galaxy is just an outstanding game on all aspects, being some of Nintendo's best and showing exactly why we love Nintendo games. This game just does a great job. The gameplay, the presentation, really just everything about it, the way it feels, the vibe, Rosalina, Bowser, Lumas, the way the galaxies are held together, just everything about this game is just outstanding. I absolutely love this game. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, I feel like the way I feel about this game is how people feel about Mario 64. And that's probably because I played this game more than 64, and this kind of was my Mario 64 because I skipped Sunshine. This is the first 3D Mario game that I cared a lot about. It came around though just the right age for me, the right time. I remember renting this game and being so excited, having gummy lifesavers, and renting it until one day my grandma just bought it for me. And I don't know, it's a game that will never ever truly not be memorable for me. I feel like this game is super nostalgic, but I don't think that's it. There's just something mechanically about it. It's the understanding of the past 3D Marios, I feel, that's there, because you can see everything that's there, because the way that it plays like 64, but it understands like the gimmicks like Sunshine did. So I don't know, this game's just phenomenal. This game is just phenomenal, and if you have a chance to play it, go for it. As great as this game is, there are some hiccups between the original and the 3D All-Stars version. One of the ones is that gravity can be very confusing to newcomers and also be very confusing for the controls. There have been multiple times where my controls have just messed up, frizzed out, did weird things because I was moving in a way that the game just wasn't prepared for. It happens. It's not the worst thing to happen, but it has. It happens either with like moving to different forms of terrain. It's hard to explain when it happens, but it happens when the camera moves from 3D to 2D or from a certain spot to a certain spot. It's not common, but it has happened to me a few times. Another issue that I have is that the motion controls or the pointing controls don't really work well for me with the Pro Controller. It's nothing bad, it's just, it feels that it doesn't feel the same or as accurate as a Wiimote, which is inevitable. That doesn't mean that it's bad, it just doesn't feel super good, and that may be a minor problem. None of it really matters. There's nothing super bad about this game altogether, it's just super minor things that cause frustration, but don't make me want to throw the game. With that being said, let's move on to the final thoughts. So, is Super Mario Galaxy worth playing today? Absolutely, and I am once again in that boat of being super biased because this is one of my favorite games of all time. I feel like that's gonna happen a few more times on the show where we come against a game that I'm super biased towards, but the way people treat Mario 64 and them saying it's like the greatest game of all time is how I feel about Mario Galaxy. I feel like there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't check this game out, and I do wish that Nintendo would have released a Wii or something emulator to be on the Nintendo Switch so you can play this game outside of this version. So, that's really it. With that being said, it's Mario Day. What's your favorite Mario game? Mine are the RPGs, Galaxy, Odyssey, yada yada. I like them all. Most of them. 3D platformers I really like, and I do like the 2D ones, but whatever. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time here on Nostalgia Goggles. Bye!